All right. Hi, Tilly. How are you today?
I am very happy to be here, so I am just fine.
Actually, I'm very excited to get to know you. We both know Teresa Wiedrich very well, I think, and I've had some worked with her a bit, and that's kind of our connection. I didn't know about you until just a while ago, and then I deep dived, and I thought, well, I really want to talk to this lady. So, but if you could
Mm.
introduce yourself to the people here, and then that would be great.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. So I love meeting new homeschoolers and new to me anyway. So I'm Vikki Tillman. I'm from the Homeschool High School Podcast and Seven Sisters Homeschool. And we do how to's and curriculum and help people get through the high school years and the homeschool.
What a necessary work, yeah. And there's like I seen Seven Sisters, and I thought, now I wonder where the Seven Sisters comes from. Like, where did you get your name from?
Oh, such a good question. So there's six of us, seven sisters. So there's me,
Oh,
Vicky, and Sabrina, and Kim, and Allison, and Sarah, and Marilyn. And we are
wow.
all sisters in the Lord, and
Okay.
some are
Nice.
biological sisters, and some are sisters by their kids getting married. And so in the homeschool world, you just connected in all kind of ways. But we homeschooled our kids together and in co-ops and umbrella schools and all kind of situations. So
Yeah.
uh, we just became sisters. And
Yeah.
oh, but there's only six of us. So who's the seventh
Yes.
sister? You are.
Oh,
So
that is so cool.
and so everybody is their unique sister to us, and
Okay.
all together we make a seven sisters community.
That's just amazing. Wow, that's great. Yeah, I just wondered. I thought, well, how did they come up with that Seven Sisters? But now that you say it, it makes complete sense. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, kind of getting into your homeschooling journey a bit. Can you share your journey with homeschooling and what inspired you to start and take it from there? Like take your thoughts about homeschooling.
Originally, I started homeschooling my oldest when he was starting the kindergarten. And I had made up my mind to homeschool him before homeschooling was very
Mm,
popular. It's kind of easy.
mhm.
Um, because when I was in high school, kind of back in the hippie days, if you loved education, liked writing research paper, you were kind of nerdy, it was a very rotten thing to be, and I didn't want my kids to feel bad about
Yeah.
enjoying learning. So I decided to homeschool. And then we ended up with a whole bunch of our friends in a little local school because it was fun to be together with them.
Mhm.
And so we did that for a couple of years. And then we moved from Florida up to the Pennsylvania area. And the little tiny school there didn't exist. It was these huge schools. And then I remembered I wanted to homeschool my kids anyway. And so
Mhm.
we schooling. And then we met all these other wonderful homeschoolers. And then it was too much my support group to ever quit. So we
Yeah.
homeschooled 5 kids all the way through graduation and, really invested in the homeschool cause and community because it's
Yeah. So
fun.
are you a graduated homeschool mom now, or are you still
Mhm.
graduating? Or are you still
Yeah.
homeschooling?
Yeah, I graduated the youngest. He is now graduated from college and his master's program, so it's been
Okay.
amazing.
Okay. All right. Oh, that's cool.
Here. Yeah.
It's, I also am done homeschooling. We had seven and I'm done homeschooling. And that, I think what you can bring to the table for young moms and those who are going through what you've been through is
Mhm.
immeasurable, and you can't really get that from anybody but somebody who's been through it. So yeah, yeah,
And I really think it's our responsibility to not leave the next generation hanging. We've
absolutely,
learned the hard way, so if we can save someone else a little trouble, why not?
yes. So for all the moms out there who are in the thick of it,
Mhm.
what for you was the most challenging part of homeschooling?
Chemistry.
Yeah. Really, I think
Yeah.
most people would probably most people would probably say like organization, chemistry.
Oh, I can't even say the word organized, no. But I learned not to let that bother me. And so
Yeah,
that's
for
why,
sure.
you know,
Exactly. So what was difficult about chemistry? I don't even know. I don't even know if I dare to ask that question because chemistry was not my thing either. So
yeah, I mean, you've done this like 7 times, I'm sure. So, um, no, stoichiometry, and all these strange letters and numbers, and you're turning science into math, and I just did not like it. It seemed like it should be a wonderful thing, but to me, it was just
hard.
torment. Just glad to
Yeah.
get over and got it
So
over.
that's why you're helping homeschoolers through high school, right? Because you know the challenges of it and you know, yeah, how that goes. So you're there to support them, which is great. So how did you work as a coach or a counselor while you were doing school? And how did you work through that as a homeschool mom? Because 5 kids is nothing to sneeze at. That's a lot of work, right?
Yeah, that is very true. Yes. The reason why I started working as a counselor, is we lived in South Philadelphia. So if for the locals around here, it is a very, um, urbanizing area,
Yeah,
and it got, dangerous for my kids, although we loved all the things that were there. But it wasn't safe for my children
right.
anymore, so there needed to be more income in the family, and I wasn't good at math, obviously, I couldn't do stoichiometry very well. Yeah, so, banking job or, something simple.
Yeah,
But I was always the kind of person who people walked up to in the grocery store and started telling me their problems, like that was it just
yeah,
happened.
same.
Um, so I went to college and got my master's degree in counseling, and, uh have worked in a small, well, moderately sized where they were very flexible with I said, homeschooling's first. My kids are
Wow.
first. And they said, yeah, we believe in families too. So we've been
Yeah,
very good family atmosphere. What made it work though for me in the homeschooling is that we could homeschool's adaptable. So we would do the things we had to do
exactly.
together in the morning, and there were some things that, I could not be present for my kids because I actually had to go and work. And so but we were part of a homeschool community, so my sisters, would take my kids places that I couldn't get, and then things that they didn't feel comfortable about, I could do. So I served as academic advisor because you learn the ropes,
Mhm.
and so, their kids and, how many, get to the next part after graduation. So we all, like everybody brought something to the table and we all made it work.
Yeah, that's amazing, eh? Like that community. And I think that is maybe as a homeschool mom, like that is something everybody has different access to different communities and different parts of whatever, like whoever they can do it with, or whether it's like online or whether it's local but yeah, that community I think is very essential as a homeschool mom. Like we always think of our kids' socialization, but to me, the socialization for the moms is almost just important to fill their kids up again. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And so then out of my, counseling, I grow into a coach also. So because that's a whole different kind of fun.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's not solving problems as much as helping people to get to the fullness of who they are supposed to be. So like through home
Exactly.
coaching, people may have some issues they want to work on, but it's like, how do I get to be the best homeschooler that my family needs? So
You're right. They're trying to look forward to something and trying to straighten certain things out that they're struggling with. And it's a nice to walk alongside. And I'm sure you do that in counseling just as well, but it's nice to walk alongside someone and hear them the way. Yeah. Yeah. So okay, that said, what were the difficulties of homeschooling? What did you find? Um, what did you like best about homeschooling?
well, the community, of course, because I just love them. Even though I'm an introvert, I love the feeling of doing things with people. So, when we were co-oping, teaching things and watching the kids' faces light up or, planning out our lessons. So I love the community and I absolutely love working with my kids and other kids too on helping them learn to think well. And so
Yeah.
that was great in everything we did.
Yeah. So could you define like a moment that you say, oh, this was like when I felt like I was a homeschooling success? Where did you feel that as a homeschool mom? This makes it all worth all the troubles homeschooling.
That is a good question. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is, I mean, it sounds cheesy, but we had at graduation, we would do a group graduation of our
Mhm.
local. And so many of those kids, because I served as their academic advisor, graduate a crop of, 20 to 40 of these kids every year. And watching my kids and other kids that I also loved with their little blue cap and gowns on, walking across the stage and knowing they knew what was going to happen next as far as they have control
Yeah.
over, like, their college plans or their career plans or their military plans. And they had an assurance about what they were gonna do, and I would just cry, and it was
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah. So like launching everyone was your
yeah,
favorite part, like knowing that they're prepared to do what they have to do and that they're capable of doing it. I think that's the main thing, that they're capable of getting out there and doing. Yeah, that is wonderful. And then to follow through and to say, oh, to see them thrive as human beings and as people and know that you
yeah.
had a hand in it. That is one of the blessings of homeschooling. Yeah. So, what would you suggest, or what advice would you give to a homeschool mom who's just starting?
That's a good question. So, the first piece of advice is you can do this, and the second piece of advice is there's not one right way to do that, and so you do the way that's best for your family. And the third piece of advice is if you're really feeling insecure, go work with the homeschool coach. Like,
And for sure,
that's
yeah,
that is a way that you don't have to do all the decisions. There's so many decisions that have to be made, and
yeah,
to have somebody that's already walked the path walk with
yeah.
you is
Well,
really
yeah, and I think it's like it's easy to feel alone, and I think even in the midst of like a co-op group where it looks like everybody's just coping wonderfully and doing everything that you think they look well, right? And you think, oh, I'm failing, all right, and then to have someone to walk alongside you, because sometimes talking to people
Mhm.
is can kind of be difficult at times. It's somebody who's kind of more afar from the situation. So yes, definitely. So
Yeah,
yeah, you'll have found that in your counseling
that's
practice
right.
as well, right? Yes, yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah. So and then also like you do a bit of like you said you do academic. You were teaching kids like so. h- How do you also do that in your business? Can you explain a little bit of your business as a
Oh,
homeschool coach? And yeah,
yeah, yeah. So, in the curriculum development hat, with Seven Sisters Homeschool, we have a website. It's the number seven in sistershomeschool.com. And what we do is all of the things that we have learned, we turn into blog posts on, like the basics, how to homeschool, high school, and all, so that people feel like they can go there and read how to's, but
yep,
also do, curriculum development for high schoolers. And this is why we do that. Because when we started homeschooling, there were still dinosaurs, back, in the
uh-huh,
States, truant officers at the door drills, there just wasn't much available. And so we had to create our own curriculum for a lot of things because we just couldn't get hold of things that we needed. So the curriculum that we developed over generations of high schoolers, our kids were opinionated. They let us know what worked and what didn't. And, we don't like busy work. We
yep,
want to have different kind of learners in the same co-op class, and some are going to college and some are going into the workforce. And to be able to have something that's adaptable with no wasted time. And so we developed, electives like psychology and human development, things that are important electives for
Mhm.
their training, financial literacy, um, philosophy. So because I like thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then the things that we just our teens stomped their feet, said we don't like it. We made our own curriculum in language arts, so literature study guides and writing guides, because they needed no busy work but to learn their analysis and writing and communication skills
Mhm. Mhm.
without, killing the
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
So that got in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So then, so your philosophy obviously is like, let's let's do what matters. Let's not just do stuff to do stuff, right? Can you add anything that to that, like as far as like what other like what philosophies did you bring into your curriculum besides like the fact that you wanted to make sure there was no waste of time stuff, kind of.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, again, we wanted our kids to learn to think. So, like the literature study guides and the writing guides, lean more on inferential thinking rather
Mhm.
than just regurgitating facts. So, not just comprehension.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because what we want them to be able to do is to graduate and go into adulthood and feel like they can figure things out themselves.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So that they're kind of learning beyond the 18 years. Like you create a love in it, like a thought process and a love for it that, like they're not just going to learn while they're with you. They're going to keep wanting to do that. You don't want it like stifling, like just making them regurgitate will stifle. Right. So yeah, that is, man, that's a good philosophy for sure. Um, do you integrate biblical principles into your curriculum or do you just,
Yeah, we're
or,
all of us different flavors of denominations and all. But we do have a biblical worldview. So what you won't find is preachy. So you
yes.
just teens don't put up with that. And but we also, what we found is, in the states, there are a number of states that will reimburse homeschoolers for their curriculum purchases,
Mhm.
but they can't have any religious inferences in them. So we took our basic curriculum and tweaked them so that those
Okay.
with access. So we have two threads. If you go to our website, so we've got the whole thread for those who are in states that reimburse, because there's so much to bring to the table, and the parents can handle the religious aspect on their own. Then,
Yeah, yeah, for sure, and they can do it the way they want to, for sure, like, the way they feel that should be done. Yeah. So, what have you learned? Like, obviously, you're mentoring through the curriculum and probably all aspects of homeschooling, you're mentoring moms.
Mhm.
What have you learned from mentoring moms throughout the years of doing that?
Not to take things very seriously.
Do it
Yeah.
with a smile. Yeah, and them too, probably, they need to do that.
Yeah. Like what you saw on somebody's Pinterest or social media feed, that's not serious. It's
Mhm.
not real. That if we're not enjoying life, at least some of it, then we need to do some praying and tweaking.
Yes, that's for sure, yeah, so, um well, and so you said that you were into co-op groups and you did a lot of that kind of stuff while you were doing it. So what advice would you give someone who is beginning wants to go to a co-op group or wants to start a co-op group or um yeah, just can you give some advice around that?
Yeah, yeah. And these days there's so many ways to join a homeschool group. So I always encourage parents that there's not one right way to homeschool and there's not one flavor of co-op. And so when you go to look, when there are groups that are accepting, new students, is see if you can visit and see if it feels like the atmosphere for your team, because some are the classical education
Yep.
model, which is marvelous for some teens and stifling for others.
Mm.
And, just because it's there doesn't mean it's the right way for your teen, and that's okay.
Mhm.
So look
Yeah.
around.
So yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. But what would you do for a mother who's having trouble with her teens? Like you said, stifling, feels stifling. What would you suggest that mother does with for that teen?
That is a good question. So, and that would be a really individual thing.
Mhm.
So in those cases, if it's really something that mom feels stuck, I'd say go work with a homeschool coach. And I mean, it sounds cheesy, but for real is, the coaches like people like me, we've been around for a while, been in the trenches, or find another mom who is friendly,
Yeah.
and a good listener, and just don't do it alone. Like process towards a a a good outcome. And also, sometimes all teens need is to just throw out the book and start from scratch, and
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
make that enough
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. So how would you encourage a mom to have her teen take ownership for his education?
Yeah, and they're all different. They're all
Mhm.
this. Some are born motivated, and you have to
Yeah,
kind of
for sure.
nurture that. And some of them you have to find their motivation. So, really, really encourage moms to be with the teen and have the teen set goals. And that's, like, don't take your agenda. Like, if your teen is not highly motivated teen and you see them as Harvard potential, that's not going to work because you'll be fighting with them all the time. So adjust to what the teen can do now and then see if you can add enough good in life, some adventure, some fun, some inspiration that helps them find their motivation. Then they'll motivate themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Um, sometimes our expectations as parents can stifle our children. And whereas we could be letting go of our own expectations and working into their expectations, and it could be a totally different outcome. And that's
Mhm.
really, really, that's really profound. What you just said there is amazing. Yeah. So what projects are you working on right now?
So currently, I am getting ready. This sounds really weird, but I decided to start teaching a class to adults on the US Constitution. Because I miss teaching. And so it's a really low key thing that I'm going to be doing online just because I miss teaching and it's a good
Uh-huh.
topic. But then on the teen curriculum side, we're finishing a critical thinking text for the teens and got several study guides. We're getting ready to finish off, hopefully by the end of the month, study guides to finish a whole year of C.S. Lewis studies.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, that's going to be fun. So,
You
well,
must absolutely love studying. You must absolutely love delving into those kind of things and um, preparing
such,
all that kind of stuff.
such a nerd. Not like PhD level, like college teacher, but I just, yeah, I'm such a nerd. That's
Yeah, that's wonderful. It's wonderful. Uh, do you have anything else you want to add? And then we'll probably close up
yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah, it's wonderful to meet you and just to encourage all of our homeschool friends. You can do this. You can do this. And
absolutely.
get support. There's support if you need it, but you can do this. And it is
Yeah.
a good
Yeah. From two moms who are on the other side have done it.
yeah. Yeah.
You can do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on with me
Yeah.
today, Tilly, and I really appreciated it.
Yes, my honor. Thanks.